Welcome to the Flora Sage Podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Flora Sage, and this week, we are looking at your non-negotiables, consistency, and results. So if you've read my book, The 1 Degree Shift, specifically chapter 3, question 2, we talk about what your daily non-negotiables are. These are things that no matter what you do, or no matter what, you do them. Not no matter what you do, ... So these are things such as checking social media every day, taking your supplements, walking your dog, doing yoga, investing 10% of all your income. So these are things that you do that can ultimately give you a life that you love, or on the flip side, a life that you hate. Now, recently, someone said, if you can't imagine doing it for the rest of your life, don't do it today. Oh, isn't that amazing? I'm going to say it again. If you can't imagine doing it for the rest of your life, don't do it today. So let's just say you sit down and you eat a pint of ice cream today. And afterwards you feel like shit. You're like, oh, wow, that was like way too much. I feel like crap. Okay, so what if you do the same thing tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day? How would your life change in a matter of a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years? First of all, that's a lot of extra calories. That's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of extra stuff. Do you really need that? Or would a small scoop in a small bowl with some nice toppings feel better than that pint? Think about that. If you can't imagine doing it for the rest of your life, don't do it today. Think about how long you've scrolled on social media the last couple of days. Think about the time on there. It could have been an hour, it could have been 4, it could have been 8. 8 hours. I've had some clients come to me and their usage time, 8 hours a day scrolling. What could you have done in those 8 hours? What could you have gotten accomplished? Even if it was 2 hours, what could you have done? Like, what are those things that you want to do that you say you don't have time for? Often, I will have people message me on social media and ask me what my 1 degree shift is for the day, or what my routines are that keep me so intentional about my life. Like, what do you do? What do you eat? What are you reading? It's not about mimicking or mirroring or copying what somebody else does. And I tell them, it's not about what you do. It's how often you do the things that matter. It's about the consistency in which you do the things that you say you want to do. It's about being intentional. And intentionality comes from knowing where you want to go, knowing what you want, and getting so crystal clear about your why that the things that you want to do all of a sudden start to show up. The thing is, I've mentioned this before, your routine day to day is going to differ based on the circumstances of your life and the phase that you're in. So like if you have kids, if you don't have kids, if you're building a business, if you're working for somebody else, if you're a caregiver, if you're single, if you're married or in a partnership, if you're an empty nester, if you're a nomad, every single one of these things is going to impact how you show up in your life. If you are co-parenting, this is a big one because a lot of my people co-parent their kids. So sometimes they have the kids and sometimes they don't. When you have the kids, your day is going to look different than when you don't have kids. So no matter what phase of life that you're in, you have to be clear on your priorities. These priorities will drive your non-negotiables. And your non-negotiables don't have to be poetic or anything fancy. They just have to be yours. That's it. So it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what whoever the heck down the road is doing. It doesn't matter what all the other coaches do that you're following on social media. What matters is what you want and what your non-negotiables are. So once you get clear on your non-negotiables, you have to be consistent about them. Your lack of result is because you probably aren't clear about what phase of life that you're in, what your priorities are, and because of that, you have no clue what to do to get what you want. And yes, that's being harsh. Yes, that is being blunt. But your lack of results is because you are not being consistent with what you say you want. That's it. And because you're not consistent with what you say you want, it's probably not a priority for you. It's probably not a priority, because if it was a priority, come hell or high water, it would be part of your non-negotiables. So today I leave you with this. What are your non-negotiables? What are those things that you will do, come hell or high water, each and every day? One of my non-negotiables is walking my dog. If I am someplace traveling and I don't have my dog, I get my happy ass out of bed and I go for a walk. Because that morning walk is good for my mental health. And my mental health is one of my top 4 priorities. Education is another one of my priorities. Because of that, I constantly am listening to books on tape. Sometimes I will listen to the same books over and over and over again because I am in it for mastery. I'm in it for mastery. When I listen to or read a book, it is for a very clear and specific intention and purpose, because I want to master something in my life. It isn't just to check a box saying, yay, I listened to another book this week. Woohoo! I have a whole nother podcast coming out about that. I take my supplements every day because 1, it's good for my health, my physical health. 2, it's good for my mental health. I do it come hell or high water, and when I don't take my vitamins and my supplements, I feel it. I can tell. Maybe not that day, but a couple days go by, ooh, I'm like, okay, what am I not doing? When shit goes sideways in my life, that is the first question that I ask. What am I not doing? What am I not doing? So if you don't know what your non-negotiables are, go back and figure it out. We've had multiple conversations about this, multiple podcasts about this. What phase of life are you in? What phase of life? Are you raising babies? Are you building a business? Are you in a partnership? Are you in transition? Transition is huge. Transition will trump everything. When you are in transition, it doesn't matter if you are building a business. It doesn't matter if you, nothing else matters. Like when you're in transition or when you're convalescing, like if you're sick and you need to rest to heal. Those 2 things trump everything, because that is the most important thing. Transition, everything's in boxes. Everything is in bags. Everything is moving and shifting, and nothing is as what it used to be. I think I messed up that, but whatever. You guys know what I mean. Nothing is what it used to be, so it's all up in the air. What phase of life are you in? Get clear with yourself. You could be in a miserable phase of your life. You could be in a marriage that sucks. You could be in a job that is just sucking the life out of you. Get honest with yourself. That's part of the 1 degree shift. If you go back, I got the book right here, page 155. Step 1. What's the situation? And separate the fact from the feeling. The fact is, you've been at your job 20 years. You're doing the same exact job you did the first year you were there. Yay, congratulations. I don't remember who first said this, but you have 1 year experience repeated 20 times. And it's sucking the life out of you, and you are freaking miserable at it. Okay, so that's the fact. You've been there 20 years. You have hit that glass ceiling, and you are bored out of your freaking mind, and you hate it. The feeling is you are bored out of your mind, you hate it, and you just crave something else. Okay, what do you crave? What do you want? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Get clear, get honest. You have to be honest with yourself if you want change. You have to be. And sometimes we're willing to create change. Sometimes we're not. But change is the only constant that you can count on. It is the only constant. So if you're in that job that you hate, guess what? You could get fired today. You could get fired tomorrow. A lot of people say, well, I'm in this job because I want job security, yada, yada. There is no such thing as job security anymore. No such thing, especially if you're working for somebody else. Allow yourself the freedom to at least make a choice. What do I want? You got to be clear about that. We talked about that in the last episode. What do I want? Most people don't know. Most people that are just floating around, that are unhappy, have no clue what they just know, I don't want what I have. Because what I have is making me miserable. All right, if you could pick anything in the world, what would you do? What would you do? And that starts with, what phase of life are you in? Are you raising kids? Do you have responsibilities with children? Are you a caregiver? Are you a caregiver for a parent or someone else? That's a big thing to factor in. If you are a caregiver and you don't want to be, that's a tough question. But you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself, okay? When you know what phase of life that you're in and what your responsibilities are, not somebody else's responsibilities, you're not taking on the martyr syndrome thing here. What are your personal responsibilities? And in that phase of life that you're in, what are your priorities? And what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to write that book? Do you want to lose 20 pounds or release 20 pounds? Do you want to travel to Italy? Do you want to learn how to speak French? Do you want to be a nomad? Do you want to get rid of everything you own and just live out of a backpack? Or do you want to get a, Fifth Avenue penthouse and be the next CFO of a corporation? Whatever it is. Like I said, it doesn't have to be poetic. It just has to be yours. And it doesn't need to make sense to anybody else. Once you get clear about the phase of life that you're in and the priorities that you have and what you want to achieve in the next 5 years, reverse engineer those things. And I can guarantee you're going to get some pretty clear non-negotiables to weave into your day. When you weave those non-negotiables into your day, you will get your dream life by default because you've designed your life to give you those results that you want. When I do my 1 degree shift assessments and my 1 degree shift sessions with people, so many of you say, I don't know what phase of life I'm in. And I say, okay, and I coach them through how to figure out, which I've done many podcasts about it, so I'm not going to go into it again. But once they get clear, they're like, oh. And then I'm like, okay, what are your non-negotiables? Come hell or high water, this is what you do every day. Okay, what do you want? And then I help them get clear about those non-negotiables. And the thing is, and I've made another podcast about this too, you're so much closer to your dream life than you think you are. So much closer. Oh my gosh. It's so good. It's so good. And I want that for you. I want you to feel so excited about your life and so clear about your vision and so clear about your non-negotiables that you can't help but get the life that you desire and the life that you want. And the thing is, it's not hard. Once you're clear, it's not hard because every cell in your body says, yes, 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 yes. This is what I want. And the universe conspires to make it happen. We've had a discussion about the reticular activating system, or your RAS. This is your filter for your brain. This shows you more of what you want and more of what you deem is important. And when you decide and when you get clear about what you want and what your priorities are, it's It's going to start showing you more. Whether you believe in the woo-woo or not, that's hard science. The reticular activating system, like I said, I've got a podcast about it. You will start to get more of what you desire and more of what you want. And then what happens is that gap closes. From where you are to where you want to be, that gap starts to shrink faster than ever. Now, I do have a few places open in my calendar this week for one-on-one coaching spots. Click the link in the show notes to claim your place in my calendar so that I can help you get really, really clear on this. And after our 90-minute session, you will walk away with so much clarity and focus, and you will know exactly what steps to take to create a life that you love. I hope this serves you today. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. If you've been loving these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you would rate this podcast on iTunes. A 5-star rating is what I always aim for.